Hello folks, well this is Miguel from the Embargo Man channel. So now what I'm talking about, that just one actor who played Luigi. I mean, this is an embarrassment. Look, I have Super Mario Brothers shirt, and John, I'm calling you out because you are wanna criticize, all right? No Latinos, no Latinx characters, all right? You're full of shit, man. I mean, John Leguizamo is full of shit. I mean, I'm gonna just showing you all it is, but what's gonna happen is that that the movie has made $23 million in the box office. I mean, I'll tell you the numbers how Super Mario Brothers has made for the 2023 film. All right, the movie has made $204.6 million in US, 375.6 million globally. It would just earns more money. So I mean, this is all what it is for me. That was just an embarrassment that he is, as a Colombian American. As he's Colombian, all right? So I'm just saying that what happened with the 1993 movie, the directors of the 1993 movie, I mean the Mario 93 movie, all right, that's what it is. Rocky Morton and Annabelle Janko. Those are like, they screw up the movie and they didn't have anything in common. And you, John, I mean, I know what I don't know what you say that he's he ain't gonna take your kid, all right? Okay, there is a diverse cast, all right, in the movie. I think there's like an Arab American, and then you have a. First of all, what it is, you're talking a lot of trash. All right, I mean, haters are gonna hate. What I don't like about John is that he criticized the movie because he didn't star in it. I mean, the only successful video game movies, I mean, that technically lately that have been very successful live action adaptations are the Sonic movies. Mortal Kombat has done it before, and there's other ones that have done like Resident Evil and all that stuff. But hey, Sonic? I mean, after the announcement of all this, after I bet if they heard the news, maybe Fox are going to get the rights to distribute Sonic the Hedgehog 3. What's going to happen is we're going to have a Colombian American playing a black hedgehog. And I mean, and after the announcement of Jim Carrey saying that he ain't gonna be Dr. Robotnik, we might have two Johns in the Sonic 3 franchise. All right, two Johns. The first John would be John Goodman. I think John Goodman might replace Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. I mean, I have seen John Goodman playing the protagonist, playing in one of the on one of the Hangover movies. All right, so he could play a good villain. He could play an awesome villain. I mean, I think he get the tail and the look of of Dr. Robotnik, And first of all, let me tell you the cast of casting Shadow. Shadow is gonna be. Have you ever seen Carlito's Way, or Violent Night? I mean, this guy who also portrayed as the clown in Spawn, and he known for The Pest. He also played Luigi. John Leguizamo is going to cast his role as Shadow, and I will tell you what he might say. He might say that Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is going to mop the floor on Super Mario Brothers, all right? And he's talking about, and he will be talking about the 2023 movie, that Sonic 3 is going to mop the floor on the Super Mario Brothers movie of 2023, because of, he wasn't in there, you know. He played Luigi, but, you know, hey, John, you can't play Luigi, but you could play Shadow. I mean, if Sonic 3, the movie, would have done, or it's coming for the summer, and so you won't say the biggest blockbuster, Sonic 3 is gonna biggest blockbuster summer, whatever. If the movie came out good, John Goodman replacing Jim Carrey, John Leguizamo as Shadow, he might use, I mean, Shadow might sound like Benny Blanco from the Bronx from Carlito's Way. I mean, you put that together, Benny Blanco for the Bronx as Shadow has to it, please, or even the villain from Violent Night. You know, you put, you know, Leguizamo's voice, like he could get around with a good accent. I mean, what is going to happen is this: the man talking about, he is talking trash, he is talking shit about Sonic, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and I'm saying yes, they just executed well. I don't care who the actors, but they got the talent. Doesn't matter if they're, we'll call it the Latinx. That's just a made-up word for Latinos or whatever. It comes all the shades and colors and whatever it is. And what is going on is that the guy is so desperate, he wanted to do right. He wanted to play Luigi, but I think he ended up talking trash, end up being a villain. I mean, end up being a black hedgehog, right? So, I mean, John will play a black hedgehog. So what's going on with all this stuff, I think, out of the Sonic 3 franchise or Sonic 3 franchise, either who it might be released by Paramount, or maybe Disney is looking to getting out in the franchise and they'll have it released under 20th Century Fox. That what would they have done with, I don't know, probably 2024 or whatever it is. This is gonna be this. You're gonna have two Johns playing the main protagonist, you know, antagonist. All right, so the main antagonist will be playing my two Johns. I mean John Goodman replacing Jim Carrey, and John Leguizamo as Shadow. I mean, what's going on if this could happen, if John Leguizamo could actually kill it with Shadow? I mean, and then the storyline would be like this. I mean, would be more interesting about that is going to be in my home state. I mean, in the state that I was born, in the hometown I was born. Probably you're gonna have Sonic the Hedgehog fighting against Shadow in New York City. I mean, it's gonna be like a very awesome. I mean, they're gonna go in there probably in Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, or probably probably the Dr. Robotnik in the garden, Madison Square Garden. That is, I mean, Dr. Robotnik in the garden. Yeah, it would be nice. Sonic fighting Robotnik in Madison Square Garden, and whatever it is like it's like you seeing the Blue Blur going to New York against Shadow. I mean, how it's gonna start it? I mean, it's gonna start because I've seen the last scene from Sonic 2, the movie. I mean, Idris Elba is Knuckles. I mean, if Idris Elba played Knuckles, he played and he really executed it very well as Knuckles. Yeah, I mean, then you have who's gonna play Amy Rose, all right? And what's going to be very interesting out of all this is going to be out of the soundtrack is going to be sung by a French Canadian woman. The soundtrack from Sonic the Hedgehog 3, it will be the same song where when you defeat Dr. Robotnik in Sonic 2, when you defeat it in the final stage and the final boss, that's the type of song. I mean, I would be, it might just sing, I know, it have it in Japanese, and it is a song from Dreams Come True, a Japanese duo group. I mean, in other words, gonna be Celine Dion might do the soundtrack for Sonic 3, along with either T-Pain or Akon. I mean, it would be most likely I would see Dreams, Actually, the original song, it sounds like this. It sounds like how I'm gonna say it, but it's gonna sound like this. It's gonna be like, I think this is what the ads are. Ads on freaking YouTube. Damn it. I don't know how they're gonna execute it or whatever it is, but exactly it's gonna be Sweet Dreams from Dreams Come True. I mean, the woman who eventually who's going to sing the soundtrack for Sonic 3, it's in her recuperation. A Colombian dude is going to play Shadow the Hedgehog. And this where it goes to these execution to probably that Sonic 3 the movie might outsell in the box office, might outsell Super Mario Brothers. If it would outsell Super Mario Brothers in the box office for Sonic 3, it would be most likely that John will be right about saying that Sonic 3 will mop the floor with Super Mario Brothers. I mean, it would be like whatever it is. I mean, I don't know, it might be great for Disney if they have Fox distribute Sonic 3. I mean, if Fox distributed Sonic the Hedgehog 3, then it would be awesome for Disney, saying payback, and is a payback to Nintendo and Illuminations. I mean, it would be like that. If not, it would be Paramount who's going to steer the ship and says, hey, Universal, look at that. We sold out more to your Super Mario Brothers animated movie. Boom. If Leguizamo could freaking kill it as acting to do the Shadow the Hedgehog, and I mean, whatever it is, maybe Sonic 3 might just win an Oscar. It might win the Academy Awards. I mean, I would say, but what he's going to say if I see John only the two Johns. John Goodman winning an award for playing Dr. Robotnik. I mean, I bet John Goodman could play a really good Dr. Robotnik. John Leguizamo as Shadow. And imagine a John Leguizamo as Shadow winning an Oscar. He plays Shadow, right? So he would just execute that movie, and the Oscar says he will say that this movie has mopped the floor with Super Mario Brothers. It mops the floor. I mean, mopping the floor means it would kill it. It kicks his ass and whatever it is. You know, I mean, that would be like all intentionally, you know, smacking Super Mario Brothers with Sonic 3 and whatever it is. I mean, the guy was so desperate to talking crap and whatever. He played villains. I mean, I was just telling you, he played John's villains. I mean, John's villains would be saying villains. I mean, villain roles. He played a bunch of villains. I mean, John Leguizamo played villains, all right? So he played Tabo in Romeo and Juliet. I mean, he played Henry Toulouse in Moulin Rouge, Benny Blanco in Carlito's Way. I mean, and he also played Clown in Spawn. He played Clown in Spawn. I mean, he also played Sid from the Ice Age series, but after all, out of that, and he might just play Shadow. John Leguizamo as Shadow, I mean, that would be something to fulfill of I mean, out of all the villains that he played, and from Violent Night role, that is more like a Die Hard meets Home Alone, he played Scrooge. I mean, he portrayed Scrooge. And can you imagine that? He portrayed Scrooge. I mean, John Leguizamo, he played Clown. He played Benny Blanco. And he played Scrooge. And what's next? Shadow. He's going to portray Shadow. We might have two Johns in Sonic 3. I might know what's saying about that. To me, I might just focus in to say, I might just go ahead and watch the Super Mario Brothers 2023 movie, even though the 1993 movie that he said it was groundbreaking, and now it's not groundbreaking. Look, John Leguizamo, I'm calling you out. If you say that the 1993 has been groundbreaking on cheesiness, I mean, it's fun to watch. It's like saying, oh yeah, it's like seeing Howard the Duck. I mean, a cheesy movie, but fun to watch. I mean, it never got to the plot to this. I mean, the guy who played Eddie Valiant from Roger Rabbit has played Mario. I mean, who would have thought that the guy who played Eddie Valiant played Mario, right? So who would have thought that the 1993 movie was a box office bomb, a flop? It never, and you know, it just went out of the detail. But if John Leguizamo would have been cast for as Shadow, if he would be cast as Shadow with this Jersey accent or something. I mean, this is gonna start in my hometown. I was born in Ridgewood, New Jersey, and then you have Eggman Inc., John Goodman, Dr. Robotnik, the CEO of Eggman Inc. He will just be the character, John Goodman's Robotnik character. He would say, oh, he's going to open he's gonna put in the New York Stock Exchange his company Eggman Inc. What does Eggman Inc. would do here? What's Eggman Inc.? I mean, he's going to New York. I mean, Goodman. I mean, where's the company located? Ridgewood. Talking about Ridgewood. I mean, and then you have, I don't know if they're gonna have Green Hills, New Jersey. If there's a Green Hills, New Jersey out there, yeah, probably it would be like, oh, that would be awesome. It would be most likely that John's take on Shadow is gonna sound like Benny Blanco from the Bronx and whatnot. It's just doing that comparison to Carlito's Ways team and using Benny Blanco's voice on Shadow. So what would be with all of this, it would say it would say, you know, Shadow's a black hedgehog, and then what John Goodman's portraying as Robotnik says, go get him, bro, go get it. And then what is going to be if John Leguizamo portraying Shadow? I mean, Shadow's a black hedgehog. He might tell on Sonic, don't mess with a brother from Jersey. I mean, don't mess with a brother from Jersey. I mean, Shadow is from Jersey. Shadow is from New Jersey. I mean, I'm talking about like he is a product of Eggman Inc. I mean, what would it be? I mean, what's going on with this? If Sonic 3 could knock it out of the ballpark with the knock out Super Mario Brothers out of the ballpark, outsell Super Mario Brothers in the box office sales. I mean, you having John Leguizamo as Shadow, then I mean, what's going to end with that is going to be like the mobile game Sonic Dash. They're going to have a part that you could, you know, run in New York. I mean, you dash around in New York City, and it's going to end in New York City. But what's going to be very awesome about this, that is going to have some guy named Mario doing a bad job on plumbing, and the plumbing company fires Mario. Hey Mario, you're fired. Put it that way. Put it that way of that. And the guy who played Mario in the 2023 movie, I mean, so it was Chris Pratt or something like that. It was Chris Pratt, yeah. Chris Pratt is going to play Mario, but just in conclusion with John Leguizamo's talking trash about the Super Mario Brothers movie of 2023 and his talks, and he end up being portraying as Shadow. It would mean, put it that way. You know what? I mean, John, so desperate that the movie have made millions. I think it's gonna knock it out of the ballpark by next year if Sonic 3 would overtake this Super Mario Brothers movie. Soundtrack sung by a Japanese duo group, being sung by no other than Celine Dion, probably with Akon or T-Pain, it would also be a smash hit. You know, seeing Celine Dion winning an Academy Award for the best soundtrack, and this is, she will thank Dreams Come True and whatever it is. You know, I mean, that would be like saying John Leguizamo talking trash on Super Mario Bros. 3, but if John Leguizamo will be cast as Shadow the Hedgehog, he will soon say that Sonic the Hedgehog 3, the movie, will mop the floor with Super Mario Brothers. He will want to say that right there in a heartbeat. If he wins an Oscar as Shadow, he will say it did what it did. It mopped the floor with Super Mario Brothers and whatever it is. I mean, what it is about this, I'm just trying to compare. Super Mario Brothers 2023 is animated, is made by Illuminations, is distributed by Universal, and even though Illumination need to make one of the iconic Universal mascot, Woody Woodpecker, that would be, but this is what is super, and then this will be a very successful movie. The 1993 Super Mario Brothers is starting with John Leguizamo. Flop. The two directors didn't have no idea of directing the Super Mario Brothers movie. But one thing is for all, if Sonic 3 would knock Super Mario Brothers out of the ballpark with John Leguizamo playing Shadow and John Goodman as Dr. Robotnik, I mean, it's going to be what he says about it. He's going to say that Sonic 3 is going to mop the floor with Super Mario Brothers, the 2023 movie that he's mentioning, mopping the floor with the 2023 Super Mario Brothers movie. If that happens, then I would say about this, representation, Latino minority, whatever it is, but hey, whatsoever, I mean, John Leguizamo's talking crap that he's in. He says, hell no, I ain't gonna watch Super Mario Brothers. But then if he plays Shadow, he will say Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is going to mop the floor with Super Mario Brothers. If that comes true, well, that comes true. Kudos for Paramount. Or if 20th Century Fox were to be distributing the Sonic 3 film, it will be great for Disney. That is a payback for Disney. And I mean, I know what it is. I will talk about other subjects in Embargo Man. Please subscribe to the Embargo Man channel. And here we go. I mean, what it is about this is that I would say enjoy the Super Mario Bros. Movie, 2023 movie. Comment about it, or what do you think? Write me a comment about what do you think of John Leguizamo as Shadow in Sonic 3, and what do you think to Johns in a Sonic movie, John Goodman as Robotnik and Leguizamo as Shadow. Goodbye, peace out, and please hit the bell button and subscribe.